Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So I've been promising you guys that I was going to bring this video to you and it's going to be answering all your questions that you have sent to me about Whole30. So if you want to know more about Whole30 and why I'm going to be doing the program, then this is the video for you. So I think one of the most asked questions, of course, is what is Whole30? Now, I'm not going to go into a big, long, drawn out answer. I'm going to link everything down below that I mentioned in here. There's a ton of resources. There's a website, there's books. Now I do have 2 of the books plus one of the cookbooks. Since I knew I was going to be doing this in January, I did ask for those for Christmas. But you don't have to have the books to do this. There are so many resources online. I will have everything linked down below. So I'm just going to start out with just the basics. What is Whole30? So Whole30 is just a way of eating where you eliminate certain food groups from your diet that could be inflammatory, they could be trigger foods, they could be things that are causing aches and pains that you don't even realize that you have that could be caused by food. Your gut health is bad. Maybe you can't lose weight no matter how you're eating, no matter how strict you're being with your diet, you're still not losing weight. It could be like any kind of issues that you may be having, or if you just have an unhealthy relationship with food and you turn to sweet things to comfort yourself. There's just certain things could have a bad impact on your body. And these food groups that you're eliminating are things that could be the cause of that. And they say if you eliminate these from your diet for 30 days, you're resetting your body and your body is healing from these types of foods. That is kind of just the basic synopsis. Again, I will have everything linked down below, so make sure you check out those resources because it'll give you more. I'm just giving you a very, very broad scope of what Whole30 is, but there's so much more to it. So what are we going to be eliminating on the Whole30? No sugar. And this includes the real sugar or artificial sweeteners, including stevia. No alcohol, no grains, and this includes corn. No legumes, so beans, including peanuts. Now there's a couple of exceptions to that, and that is in the way of you can have green beans and you can have sugar snap peas, and they say it's because they're not the same as other legumes. So not sure exactly why, but that is what they say. And no dairy. So those are the main groups that you are completely eliminating from your diet. Now there's also additives that you need to look for on labels. And there's a whole sheet on that. Again, I'll have that resource down below. But there's certain additives like MSG, which is common in so many things that I'm finding after reading labels, including like spices and just different packets and stuff. Really just a lot of processed foods. Carrageenan, which we know is in a lot of the different almond milks and nut milks, but I think a lot of them now are deleting that from their formulas because I feel like a lot of the almond milks that I was looking at, a lot of them do not have carrageenan in it, so that's good to know. Added sulfates. Now they do emphasize added because apparently sulfates can be a natural thing in certain foods. But if it's listed on the ingredient list as an ingredient, then you cannot have it. But if they put in like parentheses says something about including sulfates, that is fine because some foods have it naturally occurring in them. But it's when they're added as an ingredient list. Cornstarch, any soy, including soy lectin. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. That one is not allowed. Now there is a sunflower lectin, which is on the OK additive list. So on the additive resource, which I will link down below, there's the top section is stuff you cannot have, and then there's a whole section of things that you can have that really helps out when you're reading labels. As far as like oils and stuff, there are they say the best oils down to the don't use very often oils, and then the ones you cannot have, of course, are corn oil and peanut oil. You cannot have those because you can't have corn and peanuts or soybean oil. You can't have those on the diet, so those are out. But things like canola oil, sunflower oil, safflower oil, those are okay, but those are on the probably not the greatest list. So there's like the better, the best, and the best list. So of course the best ones are olive oil, avocado oil, and coconut oil. So any other ones besides those 3 are okay, but they really would like you to use either the avocado oil, the coconut oil, or the olive oil. So that is just a very, very broad what is Whole30. So like I said, if you have any questions about that, let me know down below. Why am I doing this? There's a few different reasons. Probably the main reason, well, I think they're all pretty even actually, but one of the main reasons is I do have some digestive issues that we have not been able to really find the cause of. When I say we, it's me and my doctor. So I do get chronic constipation. Sorry, TMI, but this is the real world. So I do have, and he has said that he knows that for sure my thyroid is one of the causes of it, because that is common with people who have issues with their thyroid like I do. I have to take medication for it, well, for the rest of my life. And that's just one of the symptoms. But he has done other things. I don't have any other things wrong with me. They've tested me for quite a few other things, and there's nothing else that it could be besides maybe a food. And so he did talk to me last time I went to see him. He did say, you know, possibly, you know, maybe go gluten-free, or, you know, maybe it's something to do with dairy, because he asked me, do you eat this, and this? And I was like, yes, I eat all those things. So he did talk about me maybe eliminating some of those things and adding them back in. So it's just kind of been on my mind, and I did talk a while about doing gluten-free, but then I never did it. And so then I thought, you know what, the Whole30 is everything pretty much that he talked to me about that I should try to eliminate. It's all in here. So maybe I should just do it all at once. So that's the main thing. I'm hoping that it will. And here's the thing, I go back to see him in February, so I figured this is perfect. Do this, and then I have some real data when I go back to him, and I can say, okay, I did the Whole30, I eliminated all these food groups from my diet, added them back in the way I was supposed to, and I'm still having this issue. Or I can go back to him and say, hey, I figured it out. So either way, I'm going to have some good data to talk to him about. So that is probably the number one reason why I'm doing this. The second thing is my unhealthy relationship with food. I turn to food pretty much whatever mood I'm in, whether I'm in a great mood, whether I'm in a bad mood, I'm angry, I'm stressed, food seems to be the answer. And that definitely is not healthy, because you should be using food as fuel. That's what it is. Side note, if you hear any weird noises back there, my dog is back there. I don't know if you can see him, but he is rolling around like crazy. I feel like I definitely have an unhealthy relationship with artificial sweeteners. I put a lot in my coffee. I do a lot of desserts with them, and I, you know, drink energy drinks. I mean, it just never ending. I mean, the coffee syrups, you know, and like, again, I think it's fine in moderation. I think that's not, I mean, for me, that's how I feel about it. I think it's fine in moderation, but I mean, it's just like when I was starting to think about how much I was having in one day, it really, really bothered me. So I was like, there's no reason to have that many cups of coffee and that many energy drinks and that many sweets and whatever else I was having in one day with all artificial sweeteners. So I'm not saying I'm going to give them up forever. I probably won't, because I do enjoy baking, and I do enjoy, you know, a good cup of coffee once in a while. Lessen the amount that I'm having and just have it be a treat rather than just a regular occurrence throughout my day. So that answers the question of why I am doing Whole30. So what will be my plan after Whole30? Well, the plan includes a 10-day reintroduction of the foods. So basically, it's like you add in some sort of grain. I think they say start with gluten-free grains. So take some kind of like maybe oats or something, and you have those for like 2 days, but no other Whole30, you know, food. So don't add dairy in, don't add any beans in, don't add any sugar in, nothing like that. But you can just have some kind of gluten-free grains. You do that for 2 days. I believe it's 2 days. And then you go off of them for 2 days and eat Whole30 again. And then you see if your body reacted any different way having those. And then again, you go and you add in, say, beans for 2 days. Again, nothing else but just those beans, and you go 2 days of Whole30 again. Same with dairy and that kind of thing. So until you've reintroduced them all, and then you just kind of make note of any that your body may have reacted to in any certain way. So that is my plan after Whole30, and then after that, I'll just have to wait and see what happens. I mean, if I notice that my digestive problems go away because I quit eating dairy, and when I added dairy back, I started noticing it again, then definitely dairy will have to go. I mean, so it's just gonna have to be, I'm just gonna have to see what happens after I'm all done. So the next question is, how have you planned for this? What have you done to plan for this? So basically, I spent a lot of December doing this because this has been on my mind for most of December. So I just pretty much took the whole month and just pinned a bunch of things on Pinterest. I made a whole board on there. I will link that down below as well. I'm continually adding to it. I went through Instagram and started following a ton of Whole30 people on Instagram. There's the website. The forum is great. There's so many resources out there, and that's what I did. I spent a long time. I really think that you should not just dive into it, that if you don't know anything about it, I think you need to take at least a week to do a lot of research and at least another week to plan it out. I've also planned for, I haven't planned like my entire 30 days out, but I did write enough meals down that I know could get me through 30 days. So I wrote down some breakfast ideas, some lunch ideas, and some dinner ideas. And even if I have to repeat a bunch, if I had to, I have enough to make a whole entire 30-day plan. But I just wanted to have enough out there, especially with the dinners. I wanted to have enough out there for me to be able to make a plan, just in case I did not find anything else that I wanted to make or anything that sounded good. But I wanted to give myself enough variety so I wouldn't feel, tempted to go off track or anything. And so I have just a ton of stuff I wrote down, and then I'm a planner and organizer. You guys know this. So then I just have a spiral notebook that I have everything written in, and then I just started laying out my weekly meal plans throughout the week. And I only have one actually written out, but I have the templates ready for the next 3 weeks. And I needed to do that. I also started jotting down things that I knew I'd want to meal prep. And that's another thing I did. I have already started meal prepping. Now I want to make an emphasis on this for sure. I know a lot of people are intimidated by meal prepping, and if you don't have to meal prep because you work from home or you work a job where you have a stove, like say if you're a nanny or you do daycare in your own home and you have access to like a stove and you can cook all your meals, then that is wonderful. But since I do not, I have to take my food to work. I have to take my lunch to work, my snacks to work, sometimes my breakfast if I'm running late. I don't get home until after 5 o'clock. So that means I have to have a pretty easy dinner. So sometimes I have to prep part of dinner. So in my life, it's very needed, whether I'm doing Whole30 or doing just regular living life. I have to have things prepped. But there are several things that I've already prepped that I just did 5 minutes while I was waiting for dinner to cook. So like mayonnaise, for example, I whipped that up. It was supposed to be a 5-minute recipe. It literally took less than 5 minutes for me to do. It took me longer because I was filming it, but I did it while I was waiting for dinner to cook one day. So there's so many opportunities just to do a little bit of prepping. You don't have to do it all in one day. Same with making some spice blends I've been making. I just been doing a little bit of prepping, some hard-boiled eggs. I just did it today, so it's like, you can just do it anytime you have a second. You can just think of something. So that's why I wanted to write out a list of everything that I thought I'd want to have on hand for my week, or even beyond, because like the spice blends, that's going to last me longer than a week. The mayonnaise, the ketchup, things like that are going to last me much longer than a week. And so I knew salad dressings, all those things. But I knew I just wanted to get them done now, but I wrote it down so that way if you ever find yourself with some little extra time, you can look at your list and you can say, oh, okay, I can whip this up really quickly. So anyway, just look for those opportunities that you can do some meal prepping. I just think that planning and prepping are key to this. I'm already seeing that I haven't even done a round of Whole30. This is my first time, but I can already tell it's going to be key in this. And also, probably the last thing that I did to kind of plan for it was I announced it. What I mean by that is I've told everybody. I've told people at work. I've told all you guys. I put it on social media. I think that's really important because, for one thing, it has brought out people to say, oh, I'm doing it too. I'm doing it too. So now I already have a support system. So I feel grateful that I have a support system of people that have done it before, because I know I can reach out to them. So Gina over at Simply Gina is also doing it in January, and she's done it before, and I've already rewatched some of her videos that she did last year when she did it, and just throughout the year. And so I am so grateful that I have her for a resource. Her channel will be linked down below of all my Whole30 videos, because she is really was like my deciding factor in this. I just had thought about it, and then when she said she was going to be doing it, I just was like, you know what, I need to do this. This is what I need to do for my body. So I think announcing it and getting that support system, even if you can't do it in your everyday life, I think that if you can find somebody out there online, you know, I'm doing it. So if you're doing it in January, let me know. Or if you're going to do it after, if you want to kind of watch my journey first and then you just want to do it in February, let me know. I'm here for you guys. So the next question is, I've heard that Whole30 is expensive. I think it could be. I really do. Well, I know it could be. So the book and the program recommends, but I'm going to say recommends, and I put it in quotes because that's kind of what they said. So they do recommend grass-fed, organic, cage-free, no additives, no hormones, that kind of thing. So organic veggies, cage-free eggs, all of that. But it also says that they recognize and understand that this is something that not everybody can feasibly do. I mean, it's not going to be something that everybody can do because of either accessibility to these products or just to be able to afford the products. That the most important thing is to be trying to be as healthy as you can when you choose as good of the products as you can and when you can, but the fact that you're just doing this is still healthy for your diet. Now they do suggest with like the vegetables, there's that Dirty Dozen list. I will see if I can find that and link it down below as well. So there's the Dirty Dozen list. They do say that with those vegetables and fruits to definitely buy those ones organic. So I do that. They say that as far as the eggs, that do the best you can, and they do highly recommend though with the meats to try to do grass-fed, and the chicken to be organic, and the pasteurized, cage-free. I'm not really sure on the chicken side of it. With the beef, I will have no problem finding the grass-fed beef. I can find that in my area. The chicken is, for some reason, is a little bit hard to find, and it is very, very expensive. I just can't afford it. With the fact that there's going to be, everybody in my family is going to be eating this way as far as dinners are concerned. Breakfast and lunches, they're not following the Whole30, but they're doing dinner kind of as, because if they want to eat dinner, they're just going to have to eat what I'm making type of thing. And I'm not making anything terrible or bad, so they should have no problem eating it. With the chicken, it's like the chicken was $5 and something a pound. I can't afford that. I just can't. It's not in my budget. If I had to do it that way, then I wouldn't be doing the program. I wouldn't be able to do it. So, but from what I've read and from what the book recommends, they understand that, but they just say when you can, so when it's on sale, try to do it, you know, that kind of thing. So I think it could be expensive for sure if you only went that route. So I think it's just, you need to do what you can do. I think initially, like my very first grocery haul is going to be kind of expensive because I didn't have a lot of spices. A lot of the spices I had in my cabinet, I had no clue. They had MSG, they had sugar, they had non-compliant stuff. A lot of my mixed seasonings had that in there. Of course, the ranch seasoning mixes, they have stuff in there you can't have. It's just, there's a ton. So I did stock up on a ton of spices, but I won't have to do that again through the whole month, and I'll be using them after the Whole30. So it was kind of more of an investment as far as that's concerned. The ghee, which is one of the only dairy, quote, dairy type of things you can have, but it's clarified butter, so all the dairy solids were taken out of it. That's a little bit expensive. That's one of the things they do suggest you cook in. I did buy some just because I was curious about it, but it was kind of spendy. Coconut aminos are really expensive in my area. I don't have a Trader Joe's close to me, so it's not like I can pop in there and grab their $3 coconut aminos. I'm going to have to spend like $5 on them. But again, you know, I probably have to buy 1 or 2 bottles of that through the month. Avocado oil is a little bit spendy, but again, I bought a big bottle of it. I already had about 3/4 of a bottle, so I have 2 bottles. I think that'll probably last me through the whole month. So I think I'll be okay, but I will be putting prices on all my grocery hauls so you can see what they're costing me. So some of the other expensive items, or it could be expensive, are condiments. So like your mayo, your ketchup, dressings. Now mustard is something you can have pretty much when I've seen most mustards. You just have to look at the ingredients, make sure they don't have like malt vinegar or white wine vinegar, because those ones aren't allowed. But mayonnaise and ketchup and dressings are very, very expensive for the Whole30 compliant ones, if you can even find them in my area. The one mayonnaise I can find in my area is from Primal Kitchen, and it is $9.99 for the small, like 16-ounce jar. That's ridiculous. I don't use mayo that often, but I knew I'd want to use it to make ranch dressing, and so I made my own. It was so easy to make. So don't be intimidated about making your own things. I haven't made the ketchup yet, but that's another thing that I'm gonna make. I don't eat a lot of ketchup, but I'm more curious on how to make it and how easy it is to make it, because this may be something I just continue on to do after Whole30, because it's gonna be healthier for you. So I'll be making some balsamic vinaigrette. So I'm just going to make all my own, and that's going to make it much cheaper. And again, it's not like I have to make it every single week. So the next question was, I've heard that snacking is not allowed. Is that true? Yes, technically eating between meals is not recommended, but the resources and the books also says that, especially in the beginning, you may need to snack. And that is because you may not be eating enough at your meals. They say that if you find yourself wanting to snack, you need to look at the meals that you're eating and make sure you have enough protein, enough of your healthy fat. Just make sure the meals are enough to keep you satisfied. But if you are still actually hungry in between meals, then to go ahead and have a snack. But if you're wanting to snack just because you are having a craving, or you want to do it and some emotional trigger is triggering it, that's when it's not a good snack. If it's a snack because you're hungry, then go ahead and eat it. But again, you want to look at, what did you have for breakfast? Was it filling enough? Maybe you need to add something to it to make it a little bit more filling to get you to lunchtime. So you need to look at it. But there's going to be some cases, especially with me, where because I get up so early, I have breakfast. My lunchtime is at noon, but there's a lot of times when we have a meeting that runs over, or I have a meeting that goes through lunch, and so I can't actually eat my lunch until like 1 o'clock. In those cases, I'm going to need to have snacks ready. Now the next question is, do you have to read every label? Yes. Oh my goodness, yes. I have been learning that just in the grocery shopping I've done in the last couple days. I have learned that there are additives that are definitely on the no list. Sugar is in everything. Oh my goodness, sugar is in everything. And also I found today that I was trying to find some cashews that were not made in peanut oil. Every cashew that I came across at Costco, all were made with peanut oil. So yes, you do have to read every label. You'd be surprised, what is in there. So definitely do that. Have your additive list either on your phone, in the printout before you go out shopping, but just make sure you have that list with you so you can check your label. Next question is, what can you eat? So you can eat all vegetables except corn and peas. You can have all fruits, meat, eggs. I know it may seem like it's like, how am I going to come up with meals using those things? Well, again, I will link my Whole30 Pinterest board down below. There's a lot of ideas on Pinterest. There's not a lot of pins on that board because some of the pins are like, they have like 20 recipes within that one pin. But just go out there and look, because there's so many recipes, you guys, and you may already be eating some foods that you can tweak. So I'm going to give you a good example right now of a recipe. So me and my son were kind of talking about like, what kind of foods could I make? And he said, what about that one with the chicken, the potatoes, and the green beans? And that recipe also, you have to use a package of Italian seasoning mix and a package of ranch dressing mix, and you sprinkle it on top. So, but you know what? I can tweak that. So I am just going to use my homemade ranch dressing mix, seasoning mix that I'm going to make, and I'll just use some Italian and I'll sprinkle it on there, and we'll see what happens. But I really think it's going to be just as good. So I think you can really look at some of your tried and true favorite recipes and just see what you can do to tweak them. But just know that I am going to document my entire journey here on my channel. I'm going to have my meal plans, my grocery hauls, everything. When I share my grocery hauls, I will, in the description box, I will also be listing out my entire meal plan with links to all the recipes. That way you guys can find them. I will be showing you what I'm eating every day of the 30 days. Follow Gina over at Simply Gina. She's also going to have some great ideas. She has already done a Whole30 before, so you can check out some of her older videos. There's a lot of resources out there. There is some food you can eat. It's not, I know at first it seems like, what do I eat? But it is possible, and it looks like yummy food to me. So we'll just see how it goes. So I hope I answered all your questions. If not, just leave them for me down in the comment section. I will make sure I answer them. If you want some more explanation of these other questions that I answered, let me know that as well. Also, let me know if you've done Whole30 before. If so, did I answer these questions good enough? Again, like I said, this is just from the research I've done. I've never done one before, but I'm excited to jump in. I'm excited to do this. If you're doing this along with me, let me know, because I would love to be there and support each other. We will talk to you guys all later. Bye, guys.